right-wing extremists defeated in state after state. So far, we've seen Illinois and Wisconsin. 70% of the school board candidates the Democrats endorsed in Illinois have won their elections. This is in the month of April. And pretty much the same thing in Wisconsin as well. Moms for Liberty, which is this right-wing group linked to wealthy Republican donors who have been behind so many of the book banning campaigns. Only 8 of their endorsed candidates won school board elections in the state of Wisconsin. They are disappointed. Over the past 2 years, conservatives in U.S. states have removed hundreds of books from school classrooms. J.D. Pritzker, the Democratic governor of Illinois, says, fortunately, the voters saw through the hidden extremists who were running for school board across the Chicago suburbs especially. Really, the extremists got trounced yesterday. He added, I'm glad that those folks were shown up and frankly tossed out. The Democratic Party in Illinois spent $300,000 on the elections, and they said that 84 of the 117 candidates that they endorsed won their elections. Fascinating. Second point, Cleta Mitchell. Remember Cleta Mitchell? She was one of Trump's lawyers who was on that phone call where he called Brad Raffensperger, the Secretary of State of Georgia, and tried to convince him to find 11,871 votes or whatever the number was. And you know, a serious Trump humper. She made a presentation. This is according to a piece in the Washington Post. She made a presentation in Nashville at a Republican National Committee donor meeting. It was titled, her presentation was titled, A Level Playing Field for 2024. But what she was talking about was a playing field that's anything but level. Citing North Carolina and Wisconsin, she said that you know, these states, when Republicans controlled these states, they cut back on the number of early voting days, and what that did is it reduced the participation of Gen Z, which is fascinating. She said that when Republicans win the state Senate in Virginia, they can eliminate 45 days of early voting, and they can eliminate same-day voter registration. So basically, in fact, her report, quote, focused on campus voting in 5 states, Arizona, Georgia, Nevada, Virginia, and Wisconsin, all of which are home to enormous public universities with large in-state student populations. The MAGA lawyer added, quote, the left has manipulated the electoral system to favor one side, theirs. Our constitutional republic's survival is at stake. So her pitch is make it much, much harder for students to vote. She complained about polling places being on college campuses and said, you know, words to the effect of, well, this is an actual quote from her. She said, what are these college campus locations? What is it, this young people effort that they do? They basically put the polling place next to the student dorm, so they just have to roll out of bed, vote, and go back to bed. Right. So, Space Ford Cadet tweets, I hope Gen Z is paying attention. MAGA does not want you voting. They know their days are numbered. Indeed, they do, and they are. And, yeah. Also, at the same time, a far-right group, the Heritage Foundation, funded by right-wing billionaires, has, they've got this thing called Project 2025. They are coordinating with as many as 100 other right-wing groups all around the country that are also, you know, funded by wealthy right-wingers. This from a report in the New York Times by Jonathan Swan and Maggie Haberman. And more than 50 conservative groups have temporarily set aside rivalries to team up with Heritage on this project. Their goal is to come up with 20,000 people that they can, boom, in like one day, put into the next Republican presidential administration. The problem with Trump was that he was sorting people by loyalty to him rather than loyalty to the cause of, you know, more poisons in our atmosphere, more profits for corporations, lower taxes for billionaires. And the Heritage Foundation is, you know, all about lower taxes for billionaires and less regulation. One of their key legal minds, Hans von Spakovsky, is also a hardcore ideologue against voting rights. So there you go.